Once upon a time, there was a small village nestled beside a vast and eerie forest. The forest was shrouded in mystery, and the villagers spoke of strange occurrences within its depths. They whispered of people who had ventured into the forest and never returned. At night, the forest would come alive with unsettling whispers, haunting wails, and the sound of distant, tortured cries. No one dared to enter, for it was believed that the forest was cursed. One day, a 10-year-old boy named Ali, along with his closest friends, Mert, Zeynep, and Ease, decided to uncover the truth behind the terrifying stories. The four friends were eager for adventure and determined to explore the forbidden forest that no one else had the courage to enter. Ali, with a brave glint in his eye, declared, "If there's a curse, we need to find out what it is." The others nodded in agreement, though their hearts were filled with fear. On a crisp autumn day, the children arrived at the edge of the forest. The trees were so thick and tall that hardly any sunlight pierced through the canopy. The entrance to the forest was cloaked in shadows, with the giant trees standing like silent sentinels. Though their nerves were on edge, the children refused to turn back. As they took their first steps into the forest, an eerie silence enveloped them. There were no birds singing, no rustling leaves, just a heavy, oppressive stillness. As they ventured further, the air grew colder, and a thick fog began to creep through the trees, almost as if it were trying to swallow them whole. After some time, they spotted an old, abandoned house hidden among the trees. The house was decaying, with rotting wooden walls that looked like they might collapse at any moment. Yet tattered curtains still hung in the windows. Zeynep's voice trembled as she said, "Maybe we should turn back." But Ali, ever determined, replied, "We've come this far. We're not leaving until we finish this." Ali pushed the door open, and it creaked loudly as if it hadn't been used in years. The stench of dampness and decay filled the air as they stepped inside. The interior was dark and damp, the walls covered in strange symbols and runes that seemed to pulse with a life of their own under the dim light of Ali's flashlight. The house seemed endless inside, like a labyrinth that twisted and turned on itself. As they moved from one room to another, each door revealed something more terrifying than the last. In one room, they found a broken mirror facing a headless doll with empty eye sockets. In another, blooded handprints smeared the walls. But the most horrifying thing was the feeling that they were not alone in the house. It was as if someone or something was breathing just behind them. But when they turned, there was nothing there. Only for a brief moment, they caught sight of glowing eyes in the darkness. But they couldn't be sure if they were real. Finally, they reached the largest and darkest room in the house. In the center of the room was an old, decrepit bed with a tattered blanket draped over it. Ali cautiously approached the bed and reached out to lift the blanket. As he did, a skeletal hand shot out from beneath the bed and grabbed his wrist. Ali screamed in terror as the hand held him tightly. It was the hand of one of the children who had vanished from the village long ago, but the body was decayed and its eyes were empty. don't leave me. It's so cold, so dark, the voice moaned. Ali struggled with all his might, but the hand's grip only tightened. Mert, Zeynep, and Is sprang into action, desperate to save their friend. Is picked up an old book that lay on the floor and began to read from it, stumbling over the ancient words. Release these trapped souls. Let the curse of the dark forest be lifted. As the final words left Is's lips, the book burst into flames, casting a brilliant light throughout the room. The skeletal hand released Ali, and the empty-eyed child faded into the light with a final, echoing scream. Slowly, the darkness in the room receded, and the house fell silent. The children fled the forest and returned to their village, forever changed by what they had experienced. They wondered if the curse of the dark forest would follow them, or if it had been vanquished for good. No one knew for sure. All they knew was that the dark forest and its terrifying secrets would haunt their nightmares for the rest of their lives. From that day on, they never dared go near the forest again, and the story of the dark forest and its cursed house was passed down through the generations, a chilling tale that no one in the village would ever forget. Thank you for listening. For more interesting stories, be sure to check out my channel.